see a potential problem here with a complete lack of fact-checking
Oh
on
man,
political
she's so hot.
Oh.
Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey making a big statement banning all paid political ads on the social media giant starting in November. The billionaire tweeting
he donated to Team Trees like the next day or some shit like that. So like he bans political ads on Twitter and then the next day he's donating to I guess it's a political fundraiser technically, even though it's about climate change and I don't think that should be political. But
I don't know. I don't have a big problem with that. Honestly, like my stance on this, and I guess we'll get into it later on. I don't think that Twitter should ban any kind of ads or speech at all.
Well,
as far as I'm concerned, like it's like if you're gonna have this platform where like people express opinions, you might as well just like open up the gates and allow people to be honest about what they want to put out there, whether or not what they put out there is honest or not.
I think for users, they should be able to put basically anything they want on Twitter, barring things that jeopardize other people's safety.
See, I talked with Pitmonk about this. There was someone on his show who was advocating that these types of political ads shouldn't be allowed, but I was like, is it really any different from these Twitter users putting out their narratives and opinions? Like, if anything, the fact that something is labeled as an ad, and it always is clearly labeled as an ad, if anything, people are going to approach that with more scrutiny if they see that it's paid for, right?
the announcement, writing in part, while internet
Twitter should
advertising...
allow whatever they want, but they're not obligated to take people's money for ads. So they can ban whatever ads they want, I guess. I'm in favor of them allowing users to say whatever they want.
Yeah, I agree.
Is incredibly powerful and very effective for commercial advertisers. That power brings significant risks to politics, where it can be used to influence votes to affect the lives of millions. Dorsey's move ramping up pressure.
They don't need ads to do that, though. Like, if you just take a look at politicians, like a lot of them just talk out of their asses on Twitter. They do it all the time, and people believe it. Just go to the fucking Donald Trump's Twitter. It's full of mindless sycophants who are just like, oh yeah, Donald, you're so spot on, drain the swamp.
But so political ad, like I can intentionally block people from my feeds, right? But then if they're taking out political ads, I'll see those anyway. That's the difference though. Like if I don't want to see tweets from Donald Trump or Ted Cruz or Mitch McConnell or whoever, I can unfollow people who follow them and like their shit. I can block or mute Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump and all their accounts. Whereas if it's an ad for like, I see these ads all the time for Donald Trump's stupid surveys. Do you approve of President Donald Trump?
What are you talking about?
I can't ban those ads from being shown.
Yeah, I think you should be able to do that. I know Facebook has something kind of like that. Like you could select like this is inappropriate or I'm not interested or I've seen this.
Right, but I mean, reporting it as you're not interested doesn't by default mean they won't show it to you again. It's,
I'm just saying like they should have an option for like don't show me this ever again. Yeah. I mean, they could do that. That's not an impossible feat. So
no, it'd be very easy. But then the other thing is like I'm seeing this on YouTube now especially, and then sometimes on like Facebook and Twitter. They're having a very hard time authenticating that the like advertisers are legitimate. Like I see ads on YouTube all the time for click here and get a free Xbox or click here and get a free game off of Steam. It's like, or like click here and get free Minecraft. It's like
here to come.
I saw like a religious thing last night that I thought about pulling for the show. Like it's an obvious scam. So yeah, like if you have the dough, like you could easily buy a spot on almost any video.
Yeah.
I just think it's like, I think it's really amazing to me that they can't even authenticate that advertisers aren't, trying to illegally distribute someone else's property or at least claiming to, like with the free Minecraft thing.
Yeah. My thing with the ads is like, I think it's the responsibility of the audience to determine whether or not they want to give credence to that. That's on them. Like, if you're shown something and you just nod your empty fucking head, that's on you. It's up to you to evaluate that.
Do we believe people are smart enough to make their own decisions, or do we believe they have their right, or do we think that they're so
they are not?
But the option.
They are not smart enough to do that. But at the same time, I'm just kind of like, you know what? I don't need the government or Twitter to fucking handle what I'm exposed to.
I mean, I don't know. My personal opinion is that we need to make the at least ISPs and like the internet in general a utility in this country, or at least governed by the same laws. I'm not sure about social media yet though, because social media is like right now they're private entities. They can ban whatever they want. I think they can do that. That doesn't mean I want them to do that.
I mean, all these governments are just paid for by these giant mega corporations anyway. So is it really going to amount to any difference other than having the government's nose in our business instead?
Well, it
of
apparently
just,
does
just the
because until this most recent presidency, the internet was regulated under a different set of regulations. I think I'm not sure when those regulations were adopted. I think it was Obama era, but at least in that instance, who was president and who was elected made a huge difference. And they weren't able to just easily circumvent the regulations.
On Mark Zuckerberg, who has faced major criticism since Facebook announced it would not fact-check political ads posted.
I'm convinced that Mark Zuckerberg is not a person. He's like a Sims 3 character or some shit like that.
Dude, he's a synth from the Fallout series.
Yeah.
Just look at him. Look at the way his skin sits over his face.
Zuckerberg citing concerns over freedom of speech, defending the move to Lester Holt.
In a democracy, people need to decide for themselves what is credible, not tech companies.
Do you feel like you're giving a green light to politicians that lie?
I think that political speech is probably the most scrutinized speech of all in the world.
Dorsey hitting back without naming Zuckerberg, tweeting.
You guys seen that image where it's like a plastic recreation of Mark Zuckerberg, and I can't.
And it looks way more human than
it's uncanny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't about free expression. Paying to increase the reach of political speech has significant ramifications that today's democratic infrastructure may not be prepared to handle.
So I think that's actually a very good point. Because he just said this isn't about free expression. This is about, I guess, money in politics is the way he's framing it there. And I think that's actually a decent point. He doesn't think he's saying it isn't fair that people with more money can just spread their message more, by buying out a bunch of ads on our platform.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't know. I feel like this is kind of like a non-controversy, at least at this point. Like, if there comes like a very extreme example where like they're putting out like clearly false information and shit out there, like that's specifically targeted at certain groups of people, then we can have more of a discussion. But as it is, I don't really see much of an issue with it. Maybe if this becomes like a bigger issue, then yeah, I could get behind like saying that something should be done about it. But as it is, I don't see any harm to it.
What's interesting is that why is it illegal and under like penalty of a fine to lie about what's in your products knowingly or unknowingly, but it's not illegal or under any sort of penalty to intentionally lie about politics or about a political issue?
I think we know why.
It's because they're the ones
money.
Yeah.
Yep.
On Capitol Hill,
I think it should be illegal for political figures to knowingly and intentionally lie about facts.
Okay, so everyone's going to be arrested in D.C. then.
People are going to be like, "Hail Snopes!"
agreed, taking aim at
first,
Facebook's
AOC.
policy during a hearing with Zuckerberg last week.
Do you see a potential problem here with a complete lack of fact-checking
Oh
on
man, she's
political
so hot.
Oh.
advertisements?
Well, Congresswoman, I think lying is bad, and I think if you were to run an ad that had a
Lying
lie,
is
that would
bad.
be bad.
Lying is bad. I am human.
So you won't take down lies, or you will take down lies? I think it's just a pretty simple yes or no.
Muddled response.
President Trump's 2020
why didn't we
campaign.
see his response? I've seen the video. I know how he answers, but like, why didn't they show it?
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe to push a narrative.
Yeah.
Calling the ban on political ads a very dumb decision and another attempt to silence conservatives.
What?
Wait. How is it an attempt
it's
to silence?
silencing
Okay.
both ends.
I just gotta say, Twitter is a very liberal platform. If anything, most of the political ads are going to be liberals trying to advertise on Twitter. Not many conservatives are going to be taking out a ton of ads on Twitter.
All right, imagine that, like, you line up, a bunch of, God, I don't know what to call it, people who drink Coke and people who drink Pepsi up against a wall, and you shoot all the people who drink Coke, and then you aim at the people drinking Pepsi, and they're like, oh, this is exclusively an attack on me, the Pepsi drinker. It's like, no, it's we're all fucked.
Yeah.
While Democratic presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg praised the change.
Booty.
I think other online platforms would do well.
Twerk for us.
I don't get how this guy is pulling. Like, I know he's not pulling that well.
Because he's got that fine-ass booty.
You know why, though? It's because I think it's partly because of the fact that he's gay, just like how Obama got a little bit of a boost from the fact that he would be the first black president and ended up being the first black president. I think he's getting a bit of a boost from the idea that he'll be the first gay president, and I think he's actually the most likable of all the establishment candidates. He's more likable than Kamala Harris.
Sure,
he's more likable than Joe Biden. He's more likable than, I mean, those are really the three frontrunners from.
I don't know if likable is the word I'd use. I'd just use like bland and inoffensive.
But like, if you look at Kamala Harris, like, she isn't like annoying in the same way Hillary was. She's very clearly like unlikable.
Are your papers
and the fact,
in order?
and she has a huge, she has a huge history of terrible decisions that she made as Attorney General.
In order?
Hey, Animancer, tap. Roll down your window, sir.
Oh shit! I was
license, please. License, America. Shines flashlight in your fucking face. Come on.
She really is kind of like a Karen too. You know, she's like an officer Karen. I don't know.
Well, you know what? It's like. Dude, like there was literally a law in California. It was either for truancy or it was for like people being overdue on like fees for their lunch accounts, like children in schools.
Oh
like,
god!
So if your child
I think you're talking about like the truancy
if,
law that.
Yeah.
Like
basically, if the kid was truant, they could arrest the parents and put them in jail, not prison, but they could put them in jail. Like
so like
and that's
you either got a hefty fine or you got a minor sentence.
Yeah, when I was
if your child starts skipping school, we're going to take away one of their people who would give them a ride to school.
Yeah, like, you know, if a kid comes from like a stressful household where like he feels pressure to just not attend school and just cut class and stay at home all day, getting him out of the house and getting him motivated, how do you do that? Oh yeah, just take away the people who provide for him. That'll do it.
Yep. That totally won't make him drop out and start working as a teenager.
Dude, we gotta do like a Kamala episode where like we just pull Kamala shit because there's so much of it.
Yeah, we do. We do need to do
that. Or question whether they should be in the business at all.
All right, so I guess that was Pete's opinion.
Left wing watch.
So, what do you guys think about the idea that like social media platforms of a certain size should be treated as utilities?
I disagree with it, honestly. I've explained why I think it's a bad idea. Go ahead, Sven.
I think there either needs to be like an alternative, and I mean like a definitive one that cannot possibly legally back out of it, or we need to take like one of the currently existing ones like Twitter and turn it into that.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I've wondered if maybe like enforcing like anti-monopoly laws against like some of these larger social media companies and forcing them to break up might be a good idea. Because as it is, like Facebook owns Instagram and WhatsApp, and like I'm wondering if you could just enforce those laws and break them up into smaller social media companies.
Let's say there was one social media company that was run by the government. Do you think people would actually go and use that? No one would flock to the social media company.
I mean, well, if Donald Trump used it, they would. Everyone.
No, I'm talking about like a company willingly says like, okay, this is gonna be like free speech platform, and from that point on, like, yeah, they have to live up to that legally until they close it.
I mean, I don't know
like
how
that would drive people away, right? I mean,
yeah, the problem with that is like I feel like it needs to be incentivized somehow. And the best way to do that is to financially offer something there, but I don't know what kind of model you would have there.
There's already so many tax loopholes. Is it even worth offering those incentives?
No, I'm talking about like compared to a website like Twitter. Like you have to incentivize these people to offer that, to offer a free speech platform.
Oh, are you talking about government financial incentive, tax incentives, or are you talking about like the personal citizen incentivizing?
We're talking.
That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know which. Dude. I don't know what model we could have for that. I don't know what would be the most effective, if any of them would be effective.
Well, that's why I brought up the anti-monopoly things, because I'm wondering if you split them up into maybe like a dozen different companies, if one of them would emerge, like you'd get a wider array of them trying to find their niche and one of them would probably be like this free speech absolutist platform, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I still feel like there would be population issues involving that. Like, not enough people would.
Right. Well, that's the appeal of social media, is the fact that you go on it and literally everyone else you want to associate with is on it.
Exactly.
You don't have to use multiple sites.
That's why YouTube alternatives are never gonna fucking happen unless some huge ass fucking company comes in and steps in and decides to take that fucking market.
Pornhub.
No.
Get on it, dude.
It contains the word porn, dude.
No, no. Listen, I already have the plan. Pornhub does what Google did, and they basically, like, Google, you know, they're no longer Google, right? They're Alphabet Inc. or whatever they are. And then Google is a subsidiary. Pornhub does the same thing, where they become they form a parent company for Pornhub, right? And it's, you know, Website Hub Incorporated or whatever. Pornhub becomes a subsidiary, and then they make like a safe for work titled Video Hub website, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if like I don't even know if they could do it. Maybe they could.
But they have the infrastructure,
That's
and
true.
they have the experience in the video hosting industry to really compete with YouTube.
Yeah, I guess
I think
you're
Pornhub
right.
might have more hours watched than YouTube, if I'm being honest.
I don't know.
They don't have the same
I don't know
data
about
storage,
that.
though. I guarantee they don't have the same
But
data
you do have a
storage.
point of them, like they already have like the fucking, you know, the
They do.
foundations and the infrastructure. Yeah,
We're
I
getting
guess
DDoS. We're getting DDoSed by Pornhub for talking shit. Or maybe it's Jeff Bezos. He's like,
Yeah,
I'm taking this down.
Jeff Bezos, yeah.
They're talking about free speech.
Amazon's moving in, not Pornhub.
I was just gonna bring that up. Like, do you think that they would even have a better better chance at it than Twitch? Like, surely not.
Yes, I do think Pornhub has a better chance at video hosting than Twitch, because Twitch, like, as it stands, Twitch's like layout and the way the site operates isn't conducive to finding videos. It's you know, they would have to do a complete rework of the site, basically.
Yeah, but Pornhub, if they were to make a new website, they literally have to start from scratch.
Well, right, but Pornhub, like they can use some of the same things. They've, you know, some of the same layouts. They just have to they would basically recolor it. They could use the exact same layout. They would just reskin it and change obviously the channel, like the categories and everything.
Get the fuck out my DMs, talking about Maryland, asking about heroin. I'm back on meth again, the perfect medicine for a Methodist kid. Sadistic, sick shit to lift my limp dick. Brand new breed of creature, the preacher of the doctrine, indoctrinating the nation of the brain dead. Having a brain in your head makes you hate it. You ain't hated, then you're wasted. I hate to tell the truth, but I'm a cannibal, though I don't need brains like that motherfucker.